Hi, everybody. Welcome again to IV English. I'm Bruce.
I'm Angela.
And I'm Wesley.
Yesterday, April 22nd, we started our Move Like an Animal article, a 2-day article. So today on the 23rd, we have some animal flow movements, descriptions of 4 types. These are hardly the only types there are, but to give you an idea, a general idea, of what this fitness industry product is like. On page 65 here, we start with, here are 4 animal flow movements to try in the comfort of your own home. The first is Ape Reach. Here you start in a squat position. As you inhale, you raise your hands overhead and touch the back of your hands together. When you exhale, you rise up onto your toes, though still in a squat, and bring your arms out to your side with arms extended and palms facing up to the ceiling. Now we'll look at Beast Reach. From a kneeling position, with your knees and hands on the floor, you load the beast by rounding your back, dropping your head, and raising your knees slightly off the floor. To unload the beast, you shift your hips forward while keeping your knees slightly off the ground. You move until your shoulders are just in front of your hands before dropping back to kneeling. Let's take a look at Crab Reach next. From a crab position, sitting with your feet on the ground and your hands behind you, with fingertips pointed back, lift your hips slightly. Then lift one arm in front of your face. Next, come into a back bend by elevating your hips and bring your free arm overhead. Come back down to crab and perform the move on the other side. And finally, Scorpion Reach. Similar to downward dog in yoga, this movement starts in a plank or push-up position. One knee is brought forward to the opposite wrist or elbow. Then, as you move the leg back and raise it behind you, you push back through your hands, drop your head, and lift your hips. Bend the raised leg and twist slightly so the bent leg moves further behind you. I'm tired.
And you haven't even done them yet. Now you have to demonstrate for everybody. The video camera's in the next room. So here are 4 animal flow movements to try in the comfort of your own home. It's interesting that people always say stuff like this. In the comfort of your own home. What is comfortable about my home that's more comfortable than a yoga studio? That's like, if a place is actually set up for exercise, I think it's more easy and more comfortable to do it in like an exercise studio than in your own home. But I think it's the psychological comfort of not looking like an idiot in front of other people of your own home.
Having the sofa next to the refrigerator will make me feel comfortable.
I meant for exercising, because when I'm home, I don't want to exercise. So I want to go out to exercise and then go home to forget all about it until the next week when I have to exercise again.
Yeah, 好，所以呢，这个严小老师说，这个他这里讲说，你可以试这些因为他这样 ，here are 以下是4种的这个野兽流的动作哈 ，animal flow movements， 你可以在家里面试哈。那英文里面讲 in the comfort of your own home 哈，这个英文是用名词哈 in the comfort of your own home， 但是中文的话，通常这里是用副词哈，就是在自己家里舒舒服服地怎样怎样哈。那刚刚 Angela 就是说，可是运动的话，其实在这个专门的运动的地方啊，你在可能在瑜伽教室啊，或者像这个地方，你到那个专门的运动地方可能更舒服，在家里面运动可能不是那么舒服啊。那这个所以。不过各位还是可以学这个用法 in the comfort of your own home.
Okay, the first movement we'll be describing is called Ape Reach. Apes. There are 4 kinds of apes, and then there are humans who used to be related. Well, we're still related to apes, but that's a long time ago. The difference between ape and monkey is very, very simple. Monkeys have tails. Now, people have a tailbone, but it doesn't come out of the body. We used to have tails millions and millions and millions of years ago. Anyway, so ape, we're going to look like a chimpanzee or maybe a gorilla. Here, you start in a squat position. Boy, I wish we could just show them these positions. They're hard to describe.
I'm going to mention that this squat position is probably the one where your thighs are parallel to the ground and your feet are spread shoulder-width apart.
Excellent. Do you want me to take the next sentence?
No, I'll do the next sentence.
OK 好，所以呢，这个猿人式哈，首先我们知道这个 ape 啊，这个刚刚 Bruce 老师讲，这个 ape 跟 monkey 的差别是 monkey 是有尾巴的，啊，有尾巴的，那 ape 没有尾巴。好，那这里他讲说，一开始这个开始是在蹲姿哈 ，in a squat position。好，那这个蹲姿呢，刚刚这个 Angela 说呢，应该是你的这个大腿呢，应该是要跟地面平行的啊，那这样的一种蹲姿。
Although, actually, technically, a squat is where your butt is hovering around your ankles, but you're standing up on your feet.
Yeah. 好，那通常啊，这个 squat 是我们是坐在我们的脚跟上，蹲下来哈，然后那个你的臀部是坐在脚跟上面的，那个就是 squat.
It depends if it's the professional exercise squat or the person waiting for the bus squat.
啊，所以呢，要看你是等公车的那种蹲姿哈，还是说你是在做专业运动的时候那种蹲姿哈，这蹲姿也是有差别的。
Or the person at the toilet of a traditional Eastern Asian toilet.
Oh, yeah.
Or the toilet squat, yeah.
Yeah, 或者是这个传统的在亚洲的这个亚洲蹲啊，就是亚洲的洗手间啊，你用蹲姿那种蹲，那也是 squat。
Regardless of your squat, what you do next, as you inhale, you raise your hands overhead and touch the backs of your hands together. So this feels very ballerina-like.
好，像在跳芭蕾舞一样哈，所以你在吸气的时候哈 ，inhale in 就是往内嘛哈 ，hail 其实在拉丁文就是 breathe 的意思啊，所以我们等一下会看到另外 exhale 就是吐气，因为 ex 是 out， 好，所以你吸气的时候呢，你 raise 你举起你的手啊，而且要过头 overhead， 你把你的手两只手举过头，然后呢 touch the back of your hands together， 把你的手臂啊这个。这个手掌的背面哈，就你这个手掌的背面，把它这个碰在一起，也就是手背碰到手背的意思。
When you exhale, which has already been described to you, you rise up onto your toes. Rise up is to start to stand up, but not the flat bottom of your whole foot, but just on the toes. You know what your toes are. But you're still in a squat position, so you don't stand all the way up. And bring your arms out, or push your arms out to your side. Here, I said push because your arms are then extended. They reach out as far as they go. And palms facing up to the ceiling, so your hand looks like you're begging for something, and that's the position that they're in. They're looking up, as it were.
好，所以当你 exhale 的时候呢，你吐气的时候 ，you rise up， 你就让身体升高啊，但是呢，你仍然是在一个蹲姿啊，所以你身体升高，但是仍然是蹲姿啊，而且升高是 onto your toes， 其实就踮脚的意思哈。你把你这个踮着脚啊，然后呢，把身体升高，然后呢，同时把你的手啊 ，bring your arms out， 把你的手往外伸啊 ，to your side 就是往侧边伸啊，不是往上伸，也不是往前伸，是往两侧伸。然后呢，你的 arms， 你的手背是 extended， 你的 extend 就是伸长的意思啊 ，ex 也是 out， 那个 tend 就是 stretch 啊，就是伸展，所以往外伸展叫做 extend。好，这个tend 这个字根其实常常看到，像我们讲 attend 是参加嘛，那 a 就是 to， 所以参加就是往那个地方伸，就是你要去参加这件事情了。好，那另外一个常见的动词 contend C-O-N-T-E-N-D 这是竞争的意思。那 con 是 together， 我们的手一起往那边伸过去了，那就是要竞争嘛，看谁先抢到。好，还有 intend 我打算做什么事情 I-N-T-E-N-D 这个 I-N 是 toward 的意思，往那边也是一样，我要往那边去，我打算要拿到这个东西。好，那还有一个很有趣的 pretend 是假装 pre 是 before， tend 是伸。好，所以这个往那边伸过去，哈，就感觉起来好像是啊，要这个要 claim 要去抓到这个东西，或者是啊 put forth 的意思，哈，就往前推一个假的东西给你看，所以 pretend 是假装，哈。所以这些字你可以一起学起来，哈。所以你的手臂呢往外伸展，然后呢 palms 你的手心呢手掌呢是 facing up to the ceiling， 所以朝向天花板。好，那像这个其实用英文描写这些动作啊，不太容易有一个这个很详细的 picture 它怎么做，那这个是文字的局限啊，所以各位如果看这个觉得不是很懂的话，看看图啊，或者上网去找，你就会看到啊，原来是这样的一个动作。
Listening to you talk about the history of words, it's just always amazing. I learn things. It's
Me
awesome.
Me too.
It's very interesting, and it helps you to remember these words.
Yeah. Yes, that's why it's so cool.
Yeah.
Anyways, our next one is the beast reach, which sounds very bestial. Reach for the beast.
Yeah. 所以这个接下来叫野兽式，好，听起来很野兽。
Right? Anyways, just beast, this word always makes people think of like being rough and violent, right? So from a kneeling position, so your two knees are on the floor and your hands are also on the floor. So from a kneeling position with your knees and hands on the floor, you load the beast. You put weight on the beast by rounding your back. And normally in this position, rounding your back like that, it's like the yoga black cat position, I think. And then you drop your head, and then this is where it's different from the yoga position. You raise your knees slightly off the floor. So you're basically now balancing on your toes and your hands in this kind of weird bent position, which is, I think, a lot harder than it sounds.
Yeah, 好，所以呢，这是一个从跪的姿势开始啊 ，a kneeling position。然后呢，这跪姿怎么样 ？With your knees and hands on the floor， 你的膝盖跟手都放在地板上面，然后呢，你就可以 load the beast 这个专有名词哈，所以它用 quotation mark 放这个把它圈起来。那有一种翻译叫做低姿野兽式啊，所以这个也是一样，你要去看那个图，你就知道它什么意思哈。那怎么做呢 ？By rounding your back， 就是弯背哈，或者拱背，把你的背拱起来，弯起来。那可是呢 ，dropping your head， 但是头呢要朝下，然后呢 ，and raising your knees。然后把你的膝盖抬高啊 ，slightly off the floor 啊，稍微抬高啊，离开地板啊，所以这是这个动作。
Okay, so we've just discussed load the beast, and then the next sentence tells us how to unload the beast. You're going to do the opposite now. You shift your hips forward. Shift is to change a position or move into a new position while keeping your knees slightly off the ground or slightly off the floor, up, removed from the floor.
那如果你要 unload the beast 的话呢，你的臀部要向前移动啊 ，shift 是移动，在这也是因为它 shift your hips forward， 所以是往前移动，把臀部往前移动。然后同时呢，你要保持膝盖是 slightly off the ground， 膝盖要微微的离开地面啊，所以这样做这样的一个动作。
You move, I assume, forward until your shoulders are just in front of your hands before dropping back to kneeling. So there I'm missing a piece here. At what point were your shoulders not just in front of your hands? So I guess when you started, your hands are much more in front of you. You're not like 90 degrees to the ground.
Yeah, 好，所以这个地方呢，他说你就移动啊，一直移动到你的肩膀呢 are just in front of your hands。把移动到肩膀呢，在你手的正上方哈，然后呢before 在这里就是在什么之前，但其实你在这里可以翻成然后你就 dropping back to kneeling， 你就回到跪姿。
The next thing we have is the crab reach. Sorry, I mean, because crabs are so cute because they have those big pincers, you know? And so you can imagine a crab reaching for things already. So anyways, from a crab position, which is apparently sitting with your feet on the ground and your hands behind you with fingertips pointed back. To be honest, this is not a clear description. How are your feet on the ground? Are you standing on your feet? Are you cross-legged? Not quite sure. I assume you're on your feet. And then you lift your hips slightly. You basically raise your butt in the air a little bit.
好，所以呢，从一个 螃蟹的姿势啊 ，a crab position。那什么叫做螃蟹姿势呢？括号告诉你说 ，sitting with your feet on the ground， 你双脚在地上，然后呢坐着，然后呢 your hands behind you， 你的手放在身体的背后，然后呢 with fingertips pointed back， 好，你的这个指尖呢朝后啊，你从这个地方开始，然后接下来呢你要做的事情是 lift your hips slightly 啊，将你的臀部微微的抬高。
Angela just mentioned a word you probably haven't heard before, pincer, P-I-N-C-E-R, P-I-N-C-E-R. That is the claw. We also call that a claw, C-L-A-W. But claw is used for a wide variety of animals. For example, the bear also has claws. They're long, thick, dangerous fingernails. But pincer is for animals like the crab or the scorpion.
Lobster?
Yes, lobsters also have these.
No?
Yeah, they do.
I would say lobster claw because it's so thick and meaty.
I would still call it a pincer.
Oh, okay. Yeah. 好，所以呢，这个 pincer 其实就是那个螃蟹的那个大夹角啊，所以呢，这个你也可以说那是 claw， 不过 claw 比较 general 一点。
Ow.
Yeah. Wow, your Chinese is very good.
Well, all about food.
Okay.
Okay, next, then lift one arm in front of your face. Again, it's much easier if you watch this than if you listen to what we're saying, because we can't always picture exactly what the writer is trying to say here. It's possible to think of different ideas. Lift one arm in front of your face. How close to your face? Does your palm face or the back of your hand?
That's why you can never do exercise based on just text descriptions. You always need somebody showing you the thing in some way.
Either photographs or film or in person is best.
Describing people's bodies' movements is one of the most tricky things you can do as a writer, to be honest. So you can probably take some notes from how these descriptions are being made to see how you can do it.
Yeah. I remember in my freshman English composition class, our teacher asked us to describe how you walk. No, he said, pretend that you're trying to teach somebody how to walk and write an instruction. It's very difficult.
It's hard.
Yeah, and then he had us follow the descriptions we wrote. We had written.
You had everybody follow.
Yeah. 大家都跌倒
I'm going to borrow that. That's awesome.
Yeah, 非常有趣的。以前我在记得大一作文的那个课上面，老师要我们写一个 instruction， 就假装你要教一个不会走路的人怎么走路啊。所以那我们每个人都会走路，可是你用文字写的时候非常的难啊。那写完之后，老师还叫我们根据我们自己写的那 description 走走看，结果每个人都跌倒，每个人都不知道怎么走。所以刚刚这个布鲁斯跟 Angela 是有的提到，就用文字描写动作其实很不容易啊。所以各位也可以多看看他怎么样描写这些动作。那如果你觉得有的时候不是那么容易理解，不是那么容易想象的话，那很正常。最好的办法就是看别人怎么做就一个人做给你看，你就懂了。所以这里他讲到说 ，then lift one arm in front of your face， 就是你把一只手举起来然后呢举到你的这个面前。
Next, come into a backbend. Say what? If you come into something, it means that you move into that position. And I'm trying to figure out how do you go to a backbend from originally being on the floor, but I'm imagining that you just have to turn yourself inside out. And you do this by elevating your hips forward, I would say, and bringing your free arm overhead. This one sounds hard. It's just what I'm going to say.
看起来好像不容易所以他说接下来呢 come into 就进入一个姿势，这个姿势呢叫做 a backbend backbend 就是身体后仰，然后用手触地这样的一个姿势那这样的一个姿势你怎么做呢？你先 elevate 就是举高你的 hips 你的臀部那这个然后呢 bring your free arm 把你的这个自由的没有在用的这只手呢把它放到这个 overhead 这个放到你的头上面去放到 overhead 那这个地方我们可以注意一个字 elevate 是 举高的意思，提升的意思，它跟 lift 跟 raise 都是同义字类似的字。不过 lift 通常会让我们觉得sometimes lift stresses effort lift 感觉起来好像比较需要用力所以 a box too heavy to lift 这时候是用 lift。那 raise 的话呢，常常是 vertical 常常是把它垂直举起来，所以 raise your hand 就是 vertical。那这个 elevate 呢，通常是 sustained 就是它举起来之后会停留在那个位置一段时间所以在这里也是一样，它不是说举起来就算了，它这个动作你身体 elevate 之后呢，你要保持那个动作，所以它这里用的是 elevate。 Yeah.
Come back down to crab, that is your original position, and do the same thing but on the other side or with the other side of your body.Yeah,
所以就是回到螃蟹的姿势，然后呢换一边做 perform the move， 做这样的一个动作，但是是 on the other side， 换另外一边来做。
I really got to see that one.
Okay, our final position or movement is the scorpion reach. You all know scorpion. Similar to downward dog in yoga, this movement starts in a plank or push-up position. A plank is a long, level piece of wood. We use planks to build floors, for example, which is similar. If you're in a push-up position, your body is straight and long. Don't ask me about downward dog. I've never done yoga.
好，所以 downward dog 就是下犬式，往下的那个犬就是狗的那个犬，下犬式。好，所以这个蝎式呢 ，scorpion 就是蝎子它是 similar to， 它很像什么呢？很像瑜伽里面的下犬式那这个动作开始的时候呢，是一个 plank， 就是棒式那个棒就是棒子的棒那这个通常就是用我们的这个手肘还有脚撑住整个身体，这个身体好像一个平板一样在地面上面，在地板上面在棒式，或者是 push up position， 就或者是你做伏地挺身的那样的一个动作开始是这样的这个姿态。
So when you're in this push-up position, one knee is brought forward to the opposite wrist or elbow, so it crosses under your body and touches your elbow.
Yeah.
This is not something I'm capable of yet.
这个不太容易所以呢，他说这个你的一脚的膝盖呢往前 brought forward， 好，然后呢往前到怎么样 ？The opposite 就是另外一边的这个手腕或者是手肘的地方。Opposite 就是相反的因为我们刚刚讲 component 那这个地方这个 opposite POS 也是 put 的意思所以 component 是成分。好，那这个opposite 这个 OP 是 against 的意思，所以它的位置是 against you， 所以是对面的意思那这个 expose 另外一个跟它一样同一家的字expose EX 是 out 嘛 ，pose 就是 put， 所以 put out 就是暴露出去，放到外面大家都看得到。所以大家这几个字顺便学一学。好，所以呢，这个你碰到你的脚往另外一边的这个手腕或者是手肘移动过去。
Then, as you move the leg back and raise it behind you, you kind of scoop it back out from under your body and out into the air behind and above you. And you push back through your hands. You drop your head and lift your hips. And so you can imagine that you end up looking like a scorpion. Your leg in the air is like the scorpion's tail, and the rest of you kind of flattened down is like the front of the scorpion.
Yeah, 这个动作会让你看起来很像蝎子他说 as you move the leg back 你把你的脚往后移动的时候呢，然后呢raise it behind you 就是在你这个身后把这个脚举起来就像蝎子的那个尾巴一样这样举起来然后呢你就 push back through your hands 你就透过双手你把身体往后推然后呢 drop your head 把头朝下然后呢 lift your hips 就是把你的这个臀部抬高。
So bend the raised leg, that refers to the tail part of the scorpion, and twist slightly. Twist is to turn. So the bent leg, the leg which is bent at the knee, moves further behind you. And I agree, Angela, that I couldn't do this. Certainly not now, but I would like to see somebody do it.
好，所以呢，你这 bend the raised leg. The raised leg 就是这个你已经抬高了那个脚呢，你把它弯曲起来，让它更像蝎子的那个尾巴啊。那 twist 就是转动或者扭动啊 ，slightly 稍微扭一下啊。所以结果就 so the bent leg 这个弯起来这个脚呢，它会怎么样？moves further behind you， 它会更在你的身后会更往前走啊，往前伸展啊。简单的说，各位就想象蝎子的那个尾巴啊，有刺的那个尾巴举起来那个样子。
Okay, that's it for the material on this page. We have a few questions to help you review what we've been talking about. Number 1, which of the following statements about animal flow is true?
好，底下关于野兽流的叙述何者为真？
And the answer, of course, is B. Positions are related to animal movements.
好，答案是 B 啊，姿势和动物的动作有关。
And number 2, write down the 6 components of animal flow mentioned in the passage. And that would be in our second or third paragraph.
好，所以各位注意到我们这一次的阅读测验的题目呢是108课纲的混合题型啊，所以这一题第二题呢，它不是叫你简单的选一下就好，它叫你写下这个本文提到的野兽流的6种啊，这个六大元素。
Yeah, and it would be in the third paragraph. And what you should write down is wrist mobilizations, activations, form-specific stretches, traveling forms, switches and transitions, and flows.
好，那这文章里面有就是这6大元素，就是刚刚 Angela 老师念的6大元素。
And our third question, below are 3 pictures demonstrating a movement of the animal flow. Fill in the movement of each picture according to the passage.
好，以下的3张图呢是呈现野兽流的一个动作，所以请你根据本文将该动作填到对应的图上啊。其实这个对应的图，这样其实也可以让你更加了解那个文字的叙述。所以这个我们可以看到第一张图啊 ，A 这个图呢其实是 Scorpion Reach 啊，那第2张图呢 B 这个图呢是 Ape Reach 啊，然后呢第3张图 C 这个图呢是 Crab Reach 啊，所以各位在对照它的说明，就会知道为什么答案是这样子。
Okay, if you want to write in here the answers of the description of these movements, we just mentioned what the 3 different movements are, and you can see their word descriptions on the first page, page 65. You just write in, copy what you read there. That's it for today's lesson. Join us whenever you can. We're right here for you. Till the next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.